Dividing fractions. Okay. This paper is copied on green paper, and you're going to fold it and glue it on page 22 in your notebook. But dividing fractions, chapter 4, lessons 6 through 8. So our step 1 is the same, and our step 3 and 4 is the same. Division just has this nice step 2 called a reciprocal. So let's look at problem number 1. We have 2 over 3 divided by 5 over 6 because there are no mixed numbers or improper fractions. Now step 2, this is where it changes with division. So we're going to keep our first fraction the same. This next part says to change our division to multiplication. And then the third part says to flip the second fraction, and that is called the reciprocal. So if we flip it, we now have 6 at the top and 5 at the bottom. Okay, now this looks just like the problems we did on our multiplying fractions page. So we're going to try to see if we can simplify before we multiply. 2 and 5 are not, or 2 and 3 are not in the same. 6 and 5 are not in the same column. 2 and 5 are not, but 3 and 6 are, and they're both under 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, 6 divided by 3 is 2. So we're going to write what we have. So that's 2 over 1 times 2 over 5. And then we're going to multiply straight across, just like we did with multiplying fractions. So 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 5 is 5. And that is in simplest terms. Question 2. 4 divided by 6 over 7. So we don't have any mixed numbers, so we do have a whole number. So we're going to put this 4 over 1. So 4 over 1 divided by 6 over 7. Now we go to our keep, change, flip step. So keep our first fraction, change our division to multiplication, and then flip the next one. So 6 over 7 flips to be 7 over 6. Okay, and then we're going to rewrite it here. So 4 over 1 times 7 over 6. And we're going to check for numbers in the same column. In this case, 4 and 6 are in the same column. They're both under 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then we're going to rewrite what we have. So 2 over 1 times 7 over 3. And multiply straight across. 2 times 7 is 14. 1 times 3 is 3. That is an improper fraction, so we will need to divide. So 14 goes on the inside, 3 goes on the outside. 3 goes into 14 4 times to give us 12. And then we can subtract to get 2. And we are left with 4 and 2 over 3. Okay. Question 3. 4 and 2/3 divided by 7. So how many 7s can fit into 4 and 2/3? It should be less than 1 because we don't have a full 7. So step 1. We are looking for mixed numbers and whole numbers. And in this case, we have both. So we're going to write this as our improper fraction. So 3 times 4 is 12 plus 2 is 14 divided by 7 over 1. Okay. Now we're going to go back and do our keep, change, flip. So we're going to keep our first fraction. We're going to change our division to multiplication, and we're going to flip the second one. So 7 over 1 becomes 1 over 7. Now we're going to rewrite it and simplify before we multiply. Okay, 14 and 3 aren't in the same row, 1 and 7 are not. So then we have to look diagonally, and 14 and 7 are. They are both underneath the 7. So 14 divided by 7 is 2. 7 divided by 7 is 1. Okay, and then we're going to rewrite what we have left down here. So 2 over 3 times 1 over 1. Multiply straight across. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 1 is 3. And that is already in its simplest form, and it is less than 1 like we thought, because there's not a complete 7 to go into 4 2/3. And the last one for dividing fractions, we have 2 mixed numbers. So we're going to rewrite these. Okay. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 5 is 12, divided by, we're going to keep our 2 at the bottom. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. And then we're going to do our next special step for division. Keep, change, flip. Only for division. So we keep our first fraction. We change our division to multiplication. And we flip the second fraction. So we're going to write down here. To divide before we multiply. Okay. We cannot divide 12 and 7, 2 and 15, but we can look at 12 and 15. They are both under the 3 column. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And then we're going to come down here and write what we have. So 4 over 7 times 2 over 5. And then we will multiply straight across. 4 times 2 is 8. 7 times 5 is 35. And 8 over 35 is in its simplest form. And it makes sense to be less than 1 as well. Because if we're trying to see how many 7.5s go into 1 5/7, it can't be a whole one because there's not enough. After you finish this paper, again, it's green, and you should fold it in half and glue on page 22 in your notebook.